Geek podcast on the N.FM. Today is Wednesday, July 19th. My name is Adam, joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up, man? How's your week been?
Same old.
Yeah.
Been just working, really. I know. I think you got some of the weather that we've had the last couple days. It's been nuts.
Yeah, it's been storming here. And even today when we're recording it, it's just been crazy. A little bit. Normally it storms in Florida, so it's never that big of a deal. But when it's lightning, like literally every 2 seconds, it's like, okay, wait a second. And then wind was a little bit harder than normal. But yeah, power went out for a little bit. But yeah, it's been crazy. Weather's been nuts, so that hasn't been fun. But yeah, man, my week's been crazy too. I played a little bit of the Destiny beta. Have you gotten into that at all?
Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah. Been playing some PlayerUnknown Battleground. Have we talked about that before on the show?
I think a little bit, yeah, because they announced a console port at E3.
Yeah, so that's been fun. Dude, it's I think like it's one of those games where I looked at it and I said, that doesn't look appealing to me. The graphics look terrible. It's like a third-person shooter. But once you do it, once you jump out of the airplane with 100 other people and you hit the ground and, it's every man for themselves. Or you can play where you can play with one other person as a duo.
Okay.
Or you can play as a team with like 5 other people. But I've been playing solo. I got a buddy that I'm going to be playing with soon. But it's just been fun. You land, you try to make sure you're not near anybody, you gear up, you go out, you try not to get hit, you try not to get killed. You look for a buggy or a motorcycle. You watch on your screen as other people get killed, or like there's an explosion in the distance and you're like, oh shit, everything's going crazy on that part of town. Steer clear. It's fun, and then once you die, you're right back into another game, doing it again. So it's and every time you kill somebody, every time you get stuff, you get points and coins and stuff that you can spend, on gear and your looks or whatever. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Been doing that. I also started Kingdom Hearts. I bought
which one did you get?
The 1.5 and 2.5.
Okay, did they finally came out with a current gen bundle of those?
Yeah, it's like $40, and it's like I think all of the Kingdom Hearts games, or the important ones at least.
Right. Yeah, I think maybe it leaves out like one of the mobile games or something, but I think that's
right. Yeah, it's like 6 or 7 games.
Yeah.
What was important to me was I wanted to play through the first Kingdom Hearts and the second, and I tried playing it on the PS3 not too long ago, because I was like, okay, I want to try this out, and holy shit.
Yeah, those controls, man. Yeah.
The controls are the absolute worst, and I'm thinking that people who think back with Kingdom Hearts had to just have rose petal goggles. Because it's just, I guess for the time you just didn't know better, so you were like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
But holy shit, trying to get into it now. Now I guess now's the time to get into it, because with the bundle, the controls are much better. You can have it where the camera follows you, or you control the camera with the right thumbstick.
Excellent. They
so
updated it. Nice.
Yeah. And it's still... It's very much a PlayStation 2 game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a little rough to get into, because you're like, okay, it's It's almost a GameCube game, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
Yeah, and if you're, because I'm not that big into Final Fantasy, so the things that were really getting me were the Disney stuff, and it takes some time to get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just got to the Hercules part, so I'm like, okay, I'm now getting into the Disney worlds. This is what I paid my ticket for. So I don't know. I wanted to do that before the third one comes out because we got some news this week regarding the Kingdom Hearts 3. So what else have I been doing? I don't know. I've just been geeking out. We've been working on projects, me and you, and one of them for me revolves around comic books. So I've been diving into some old comics this week to kind of choose which one I want to start out with. So I'll probably talk about that later. Maybe not this episode, but let's just say I've been diving into some old books. The Sinestro War, Blackest Night, Watchmen, All-Star Superman. So I've been just diving into that shit head first. So, but it's been fun. But yeah, other than that, same old, just work. I wanted to go see Planet of the Apes today, but what's the saying when you make plans?
Yeah. If you want to hear God laugh, tell him your plans.
Exactly, yeah. The weather didn't hold up either, too. Yeah. So I was like, I looked outside, I was like, nope, not going anywhere
Swim
today.
to the theater. Swim.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Big fun.
Oh, yeah. Yep. But it's been a big week. Like, we got a lot of D23 news that I guess we should just jump right in.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the headlines for the week. I mean, we've got some other stuff too, but we'd be remiss if we didn't start with the big ticket stuff.
Yeah. Well, here you take the big one.
Yeah, because they finally announced the cast for the live action Aladdin film. Like 2 days after there was a whole lot of reporting on the internet about Disney having trouble casting for Aladdin, and everybody just kind of lost their shit of just like, oh my god, they can't find appropriate actors. Are you kidding me? But
well, is that that aside, it's a problem with the industry. I don't think that's a problem with Disney.
No, I think that is symptomatic of the problem at large. I think it's just one facet of, oh wait, it's not just Disney. Everybody's been having problems. Right. Look at we can go back to Ghost in the Shell and go from there. Just like it's
that's why I wanted to make sure what you were saying, because props to Disney for doing what they're doing to listening to people and going, we're going to cast this how it should be, and props to them. And it sucks that we don't live in a world where those kind of actors are just thriving and they can go, okay, look at this body work. Right.
It's sad that we have to. I love that there is this kind of thing to celebrate, but I hate that we have to celebrate it because it's not the norm. It should just be how it should be. Like I just bring the people. I've heard people talk about well, they have to bring on a star so that people will show up. I don't agree with that. Nah. I don't think people are that stupid.
Well, I think Disney's in a good place because it's just like Star Wars. People are going to go see it.
True.
So they can, and it sounds crazy to say take risks when you have a female lead, or a minority lead. That sounds crazy to us, but, that's the reality. And but Disney, I think they're in a place where people are going to go see Aladdin. They can do that. So it's. And did you see the? Go ahead and say the cast. I'm sorry.
They've got an interesting lead trio. Mina Masood to play Aladdin, and I looked and I could find very, very little that he'd been in.
Right.
I don't know if he's, and I don't just mean Hollywood, but I mean everywhere. And maybe that was sloppy research on my part. That's possible.
He looks the part.
He absolutely.
Spot on.
Totally. Naomi Scott to play Jasmine. She was the Pink Ranger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and good too, like genuinely good. So I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome, nice, rock on.
Cool.
And And I swear to God, if Genie doesn't come out and want to tell us a story all about how his life got turned upside down, and wants to tell us how he got trapped in a lamp for 10,000 years, then I'm gonna be disappointed in Will Smith. I am. What do you think about this choice? Because I've got my opinion, so I want to hear what you think.
I mean, I don't know. I think it's so hard to live up to Robin Williams that I don't know who they could pick to be wacky. And, my first thought was like Jim Carrey, but Jim Carrey's not really like that anymore.
Yeah.
If this was 10 years ago, Jim Carrey would probably be perfect. Or, Robin Williams, of course. But I don't know. I think Will Smith can be wacky and crazy, and he's not the thing is he's not the same kind of comedy as Robin Williams.
Right.
So it's going to be odd. But I don't think he's the worst choice.
No, I like that this is definitely going to be different. They didn't try to get somebody else who does impressions or characters or does the kind of stuff that Robin did. Like Will is his own thing and has his own kind of comedic timing. If he can tap into like that late 90s Will Smith, then this is going to be awesome. Like
that's the thing. I think back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and that was probably his goofiest roles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing him play the genie. But I saw people getting upset, and I was like, I mean, I think they're thinking of like the last 5 years of Will Smith, and not his.
Well, And, I mean, people fixate on, like, After Earth, like, oh my God, he's terrible, he's awful, he can't act anymore, and they forget Concussion. He was phenomenal in Concussion.
Exactly.
And I do think that Will can go back to, to comedy. I don't want to say goofy Will Smith, but comedy Will Smith. I think he can do it.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
We'll see. As long as like Jaden doesn't play the carpet or anything, I'll be all right.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy. But yeah, we don't have casting for like Jafar or Iago or anything. So that I kind of hope they bring Gilbert back to play Iago again. That would be funny.
Oh yeah. They also, along with Aladdin, they announced Incredibles 2. And I know they've announced it before, but I think this is the first time they showed footage. Right?
Yeah.
I guess it's going to begin immediately after the first film.
Yeah, like there's not going to be a time jump or anything. Like it's going to pick up where the first one left off.
That makes sense. It's been so long since I've seen that film.
You should go back and watch it again. It holds up. Like, it's really funny.
Yeah. No, it's been forever. I remember Jason Lee was in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing with Wreck-It Ralph. They talked about that. I guess there's a scene that they screened and it shows all the Disney princesses together.
Yeah, there's apparently like a part where, because now they go out onto the internet and they wind up apparently at like a Disney website. And they're like, this is the part of the internet that everybody loves. Like, the kind of corny kids movie setup. And it's got like it has like all of the Disney princesses like all in like a dressing room, like doing their hair and makeup and all that stuff. And the cool thing about it is that it has, I think, all of the surviving voice actors. Like
that's awesome! Yeah, I saw them all on stage.
Yeah, like
really cool.
Like all of them that have done the voices are going to be there. Jodie Benson, all of them. It's gonna be great.
That's cool. And I liked that the logo was like Wreck-It Ralph with like 2 notifications as if it's an app.
Yeah. I thought that
was cool.
That was clever. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, cool touch. Now, the D23, they do this every 2 years, right?
2 years, or is it every year?
I think they do it every 2 years.
No, I think it's every. I think you're thinking of Celebration.
Are you sure they do? So there was a D23 2016?
I think. Now, maybe I may be wrong. It is entirely possible I'm wrong, but I thought they did this every year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, that's cool. Let's see here. What else do we got? We got some Pixar news. Um, let's see here. Dan Scantlin, Monsters University to helm the next Pixar project, filmed to be a suburban fantasy adventure.
Yeah, like it's gonna be, like if from what reporting I gathered, it's like, oh, it's just remember how like Monsters Inc. was like, oh, it's just a normal place, but monsters live there. It's gonna
Right.
be the same thing of like, oh, it's just a normal town, except elves and dwarves and shit live there.
Okay.
I like that. Could be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I always give Pixar a chance as long as it's not a Cars sequel.
Well, did you see they're doing another car? They're spinning off Cars and Planes.
Didn't they already do that?
Yeah, they spun off Cars to be planes, and now they're spinning off Cars and Planes to be something in space.
I don't understand.
It sells,
Of
man.
all the franchises.
Merchandise. They sell so much freaking merchandise from that franchise.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, you would think like I don't know any of the other ones like Nemo or Toy Story.
I'm sure they do too, but that's why they made, they're up to 3 cars, and they did Planes, and then they did a sequel to Planes that in theaters tanked. Nobody went to see it, but the toys sold like crazy.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I mean that's the bottom line. If they can recoup their losses on it, whatever way they can, then it's worth it.
I mean, I guess it makes sense. Kids gonna play with toy cars and toy airplanes and stuff.
But so at some point in the near future, we're gonna have space. I don't know. I've no idea what the hell they're gonna call it, but
I mean that's kind of cool. So you got like spaceships and rockets and
that's potentially interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It'll probably be like a do you think it's gonna be like in a theater movie or like straight to DVD?
I think it's gonna be in a theater movie.
Wow.
I think so.
That's crazy.
Well,
See, the other thing sounded more interesting to me. The one where it's like, oh, it's going to be a suburban fantasy adventure, something different. That's something I'd watch. The plain stuff, no. That's something you put in front of your kids, I guess.
Right, and I think this one, like, that's a long way off. The other one will come first.
Yeah. Well, we only got a few seconds left, and I don't want to get into the Marvel or Star Wars stuff until then. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll dive into the Marvel and the Star Wars news coming out of D23. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we will see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and let's just kind of dive into the Marvel stuff for the D23 we were talking about before the break. And yeah, man, so they the big thing this year from Marvel was the Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
They showed the first footage. Apparently it was great. One of the main things that it showcased was the Spider-Man Spidey sense.
Yeah.
Apparently, like the hairs on his arm lifted up. And that's not that big of a spoiler for the new Spider-Man movie, but there's nothing about his spider sense. And I think it's because of, he's relying on Stark's suit right now.
Right.
For a lot of that stuff. And who knows, maybe once he starts to get away from it. Apparently, though, in the trailer, he was wearing,
He's wearing he's wearing much like in every other Marvel film, whenever somebody wearing a suit goes into a sequel, they get a new suit.
Exactly. He's wearing a new suit. Yeah,
so, if you've seen Spider-Man...
which I thought was cool.
Yeah. If you've seen Spider-Man Homecoming, you know the suit.
Right.
That's fair without being spoilery, I think. I hope.
Exactly. Yeah. Apparently, it opened up with the Guardians of the Galaxy flying through the galaxy, and they literally run into Thor.
Right. In space. They run him over in space.
And they run him over. And so they meet... And apparently just showed a bunch of, the Thanos taking on the Avengers and just doing work with them. They they showed a lot of his family.
Yeah,
I guess it's the Black Order,
yeah,
right?
it's the Black something. I can't remember what they're called.
Yeah, the Black Order.
Is it the Black Order? Okay.
I believe it is. Here, yeah.
They, yeah,
Here,
they
Go
yeah,
ahead.
they showcased the like because they had like toys and little statuettes and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they had the big statues, and if you've been reading the comics, um, these are the guys that basically his family, I guess, or members of his family.
Yeah.
Um, Supergiant, Proximia Midnight. I'm butchering their names. Ebony Maw, which I think is most people know him, um, and Black Dwarf. Um, Corvus Glaive. So if you don't read comics or anything, you're gonna have no idea who these people are. They just look like devilish people that would follow Thanos. But that's pretty much what they are. They're his followers. He basically has like a cult.
Yeah, pretty much.
Exactly. So, but it showed them. Or I don't know if it showed them, but it showed Thanos just wrecking house. And at the end of the trailer, it showed him moving a moon to an Earth, but they couldn't really tell if it was like the planet Earth. They just saw him fighting Iron Man, whooping his ass, and then showing the power of what he could do, and he's moving the moon closer to an Earth, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
with I think only 2 of the Infinity Stones.
Oh, that's all he had.
I
Was
think
2 of them.
Yeah, I think he only had 2.
Yeah, so that tells you once
Yeah.
he gets all of them,
So that's
it's game over.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. Now I wonder, are they gonna screen that again at Comic-Con this weekend? Do you think?
I imagine they will, and I imagine they'll release it at some point.
Yeah. You wonder if is it gonna be with Thor or is it gonna be with Black Panther?
That's a good question. I hope they, well, Thor will come out first, so
Right.
I hope there's something in front of Thor. Black Panther might be too close, but then again, they don't want to cannibalize each other.
True.
They're gonna I hate to say it, but they'll probably show it at Black Panther to get everybody excited for it, because once Thor comes out, then they want everyone to get on board with Black Panther. They're even doing it now, and that was the other thing. Like, I was looking at a lot of the costumes and stuff they brought there, and the Black Panther stuff is just some of the just so beautiful. Like the outfits and stuff that they had.
Yeah, the costume design.
Colors.
Yeah, the costume design they've done on that is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like the thing is, the Captain America costume design, it's either it was in the 40s or it's now. Ant-Man was normal, whatever. Spider-Man was normal, whatever. The only ones that ever really stood out, of course, were like the Thor movies, because that just looked cool. But this just looked awesome. So I thought it looked fantastic. And they were showing off, like, I guess a Black Panther mask, like a new mask or something.
Really?
Yeah. Someone was calling it the new mask, but I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna have multiple masks in the movie. But it looked awesome. Yeah, so that was the Marvel stuff. Then they showed the Star Wars stuff, and they showed like a behind-the-scenes reel, which they released.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. That's why they should release the Marvel stuff. I don't understand I don't get that. I get that they want people to go to these events and they want them to feel like they've seen the first footage, but after the weekend, you should really just release it.
Yeah, and I think maybe they would have if it weren't for Comic-Con this week. I think they're probably holding on to wait until after that, so that even because I know D23 for what it's for, it's not a huge giant event like
I don't
Comic-Con
think Marvel's gonna be at Comic-Con.
Are they not gonna? What? No, they can't not be there.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't really gone since D23 stuff. I mean, think about it. The last time Marvel went there and was like, we're doing the Infinity War stuff, was when they announced that years ago.
They
right?
went. Oh yeah, cause shit. No, they've gone since then. They have to.
No, I remember it was big news. Marvel not going to Comic-Con.
Because I remember like Fox and them pulled out because they were cowards about piracy and that stupid shit.
Okay, so we're both right.
Okay.
Marvel returns to Comic-Con this year.
Ha! But
yeah, so they were here this time, but I guess they weren't the last.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess because Infinity War is just so huge,
Right.
or because I don't know. Like, what's I understand. I could understand why they wouldn't go because of D23. I get that.
Yeah.
But
I guess 2015 they didn't go, and 2016 they didn't go.
They didn't go. God damn, 2 years they didn't go.
Yeah.
That's craziness. Wow.
Yeah. I think it's because of the D23 stuff. I think when D23 started, it was just Disney.
Yeah.
Now that they have Marvel and Star Wars, they could literally, and they're doing it a week before Comic-Con. They have enough material to have, it's their own little con, and they can control their message. The entire audience is there to see that.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Infinity War is too big. They have too many projects coming up that,
Yeah,
it only makes sense.
Yeah, they need to get there.
Yeah, and I loved the stuff. It was like Marvel 10 years now.
Yeah, God, it's insane, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and apparently, the Spider-Man Homecoming 2, whatever it's going to be called, I thought it was funny. Someone said, "What if it's called Spider-Man Sadie Hawkins Dance?" It'd be great.
They're goofy and self-aware enough to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. And then the third one is Spider-Man Prom.
Yes, that's it. Done. Sold. Book it.
It would be fantastic. I think people would love that. Apparently, that is going to be the first Marvel movie that sets off the next 10 years. That takes place after Infinity War.
Oh, so it's going to be the what the hell are they calling it now? Phase 4 or whatever?
Right. Yeah, whatever the next thing is. They made it sound more important than just a phase. They were like, the next 10 years, So who knows what that means? Are we, I think it's safe to say we probably won't see another Iron Man movie in our lifetime with Robert Downey Jr. Could it be the last Captain America movie with, Chris Evans? Could it be the last Thor movie? Are they going to maybe now kind of keep them just for Avengers and now branch? Now, we're going to be getting Captain Marvel, Black Panther, Spider-Man, and who knows what's next?
Yeah.
There's so many characters they can pull out. The Ant-Man and Wasp movie, stuff like that. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So they're looking at it like Infinity War just kind of ends, like this is the end of this run, basically.
Exactly. I imagine at some point they're going to have a giant Blu-ray set of all the movies go from, Iron Man or Hulk, whichever one came first.
Iron Man.
Iron Man. Yep, Iron Man all the way to this. And that would be like one pristine collection. 10 years of Marvel.
Yeah, it's going to cost $400.
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
It better come with extra features out the ass. That's all.
I'd buy it for $200.
I could see that. Like, that would be reasonable. But how much was the Phase 1 set, though? Wasn't it like $200?
I think so.
Yeah, so...
But those have less in value. Now that they're all on, like, Netflix and stuff.
True.
And they're old. Like, they're 10 years old at this point.
I love that. We're like, yeah, Iron Man's such an old movie now.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but 10 years, I imagine when they do that, it'll be the 4K Blu-ray, all digital.
All that, like, oh, yeah.
All that. Yeah. So I could see that happening, which would be really cool,
Yeah.
That's what I would buy because I don't think I own any of them on Blu-ray.
I think I have not all of them, but a lot of them on Blu-ray.
Yeah, see, I don't. Once they started hitting Netflix, I was just like, good.
I like the extra features. I'm a sucker for good extra features. You give me some good behind the scenes stuff, then I'll spring for a Blu-ray for sure.
Damn it! Why'd you have to say that?
What?
You know that's my weakness too.
I
didn't
know.
even think about that.
I know.
Do
But
they
like,
have a ton of extra feet, like behind the scenes stuff?
they've got some. Some are better than others.
Okay.
I didn't check the Doctor Strange ones. I'll
Hmm.
have to look at that. But I can imagine like Guardians is gonna have just hella cool extra features.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I love the Star Wars and
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Like I loved how they going into the project were like, we're going to film everything.
Right.
I didn't know if Marvel and Disney did the same thing.
They've got good extra features. The best
Okay.
I they like the two best sets of extra features. Three. Let me go back. The three that I've ever seen. The Lord of the Rings set, because those bonus features are incredible.
Right.
The Alien quadrilogy. Same reason. So much stuff. Uh,
Oh.
and the Harry Potter collection. They've got
Oh.
yeah, they've basically got a whole, they've got like the bonus scenes and deleted stuff and blah blah blah, but then they've got a whole second Blu-ray of bonus features for each movie.
I saw there's the Harry Potter 4K collection now.
Oh Jesus, I can't. It's no.
Yeah.
I just got like a decent sized TV. I can't even be thinking about like a 4K or HDR or anything like that right now.
Right. No, I was going with
Uh,
a family member over the weekend. They just got a 4K TV. They got such a great deal. The TV was, I think, $500 or $600 off because it was out of box.
there you go.
Yeah, so they got like a $1,600 television for the price of $1,000, and it's like top of the line Sony. And they took that 600 they were going to spend and bought the 4K player and surround sound system, and I was like,
Oh,
you lucked out, like, oh
oh
my God, you're crazy lucky.
man.
And
Oh,
and of course we're geeks and stuff, so family members they immediately come to us, but I don't know, like I know you would know in a heartbeat. I don't know audio and stuff like that, so I'm like, you need a receiver, and for some reason I thought that there was a 4K player receiver, but I was totally wrong.
no.
Um,
Just
and so
just get him the receiver, and then is their
yeah,
system 2.1 or 5.1?
I it's probably more than that. They got the whole surround sound with all the
Okay.
speakers.
It could be up to 7.1. If it's really nice, then it's probably 7.1. And
Two in the
that's
front, two in the back, and a sub.
so four. Hang on. Two in the front, two in the back, and a sub.
I think
That's
there's two in the back. I'm not sure actually.
because that would be. Oh, and is there also a center? There should be a center too.
There's a centerpiece down in the middle.
Yes. Okay. So it's five. It's
Yeah.
5.1. Okay. Yeah. Because it would
Okay.
be because it's always it's something like that is left, right, center in the front, and then left,
Yes.
right in the back, and then a sub. Yeah. 5.1. 5.1.
Yeah. So they got the Harry Potter movies in 4K. And I bought Watchmen because I'm like, I'm gonna go watch this at your place at some point soon. And they got like Planet Earth 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To
Something
check
that.
out the
Yeah. That would.
because
Yeah.
they
For
were like,
sure.
well, is television 4K? And then I explained, no, not just yet. But it's still going to look amazing. You're going to turn on your television and be like, whoa! But when you turn on your 4K player and you put in like something like Planet Earth 2, that's all shot in 4K, high resolution, whatever. Holy shit! I'm like, that's going to blow your socks off.
That's gonna look
Um,
fucking amazing. Like I want to come down there and watch stuff. That's gotta look
it-
just unbelievable.
oh
Excuse me,
yeah, yeah.
just
I'm definitely going over their house for football and stuff like
yeah,
that.
yeah, right. Jeez.
And I told him too. I was like, it's a double-edged sword because it might look too real to you because of the high the refresh rate
Right.
on some of the stuff. It trips people out sometimes because it looks like you're watching a play instead of watching a movie. It doesn't have that kind of that like that grain to it where you're like, I'm watching a film. You're gonna be like, wow, I'm watching a play, and it kind of takes me out of it.
Right. Like what happened with The Hobbit.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. And some things are like that on it. So,
Well, and
but they'll see.
Yeah, and that's why you've got to have 4K editions. Because I imagine
Yeah.
like if you just try to upscale it, then it might look like that.
Yep.
But
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
I would think with the remastering process, that's exactly what they try to avoid.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm glad Harry Potter did that. Like, it seems like immediately, Star Wars is going to do it in 5 years when that form of media is going to be dead.
Right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I hate that. It's like, well, okay, Blu-rays are getting popular. We'll drop Star Wars, and now we got 4K because they waited. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
so that'll be fun.
Yeah, I'd want to have something like that. I went down to the. I think we had talked about it off air a few weeks ago about how I was going to go like pawn shop surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a, what is it? A Samsung. It's a 30. It's like 33-inch, and it's a smart TV. And it was it was like 125, 130, but the remote wouldn't work. And I was like,
okay.
oh well, these things are like 20, 25 bucks unless you find somewhere really cheap to get them. So I was like, I'll tell you what, I'll take it for 100, and then just have this. So that I have like the model number and everything. They're like, yeah, it sounds fair. And so after I got it all paid for and everything, I spent like 6 seconds on Google figuring out how to refresh the remote. Works just fine.
There you go. That's awesome, dude.
So, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Samsung's my favorite. I think they have the best picture.
Yeah, it's just I can see things now. It's amazing. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
That's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. All right, well, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll get more into the D23 stuff. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we're still in D23 news. They had a lot of announcement about their parks. The big news was that they're going to do Star Wars Galaxy Edge is going to be the name of the Star Wars area of parks. So Star Wars Galaxy Edge. The area is going to be more interactive than most of their other part of the parks. The Orlando park is going to feature a 100% immersive Star Wars hotel, which is going to be insane. So
yeah, did you see the details on this?
Yeah, it looks crazy.
It's unreal. Like, as soon as you check in, you are part of the story.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, the other park, I guess the stuff that they're going to be doing at like in California and stuff is going to be more like, oh, there's kind of like Star Wars happening around you, and like you can interact with it. Which is still going to be awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But the hotel in Orlando is going to be like, you come as soon as you check in, you are a character in Star Wars. Like this awesome. Like this particular hotel and its stories and everything. Once you check in, you are now part of the story.
Dude, this is going to be sold out for like 4 years.
Yeah. And the price. I know the price is going to be nuts because there's no way, even for a night, that this is going to be cheap by any stretch of the imagination. Excuse me, but
right.
I just hope it's worth it. Like, I hope it's all been just like ridiculously thought out and designed and everything. Because if this goes off less than perfect, it's going to be bad but fixable. But it's going to have the same kind of like, well, it didn't work first time, blah 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 kind of shit. But if this goes off smooth when it starts, it's going to be the most amazing thing to happen to a theme park in fucking ever.
Oh yeah, at 100%. And they make immersive shit. Like even the bars at Downtown Disney, like that one hangar bar that's supposed to be from like from Indiana Jones or whatever. Like, it's straight up amazing looking.
Nice.
And they take care of you. Like their restaurants and their hotels are some of the best in the world, I think. I can't wait to see what they do with Star Wars. Like, yeah, I was looking at the designs and stuff like that, and I was just like, when do I sign up?
Right.
Like, I live here in Orlando, but I want to go do that immediately. At least for like a night, just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's just absolutely bonkers to me.
And I mean, that's the thing about at least construction in Florida, from what I can remember. When they're like, okay, build this, it gets done like that. Like, they build stuff down there faster than I've seen anywhere. It's insane.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. When you get that much money, and Disney owns this town. Like,
Pretty much.
laws are passed because of it. Like, there's certain, you can't have certain strip clubs and all this other stuff, all because of Disney. They
Yeah.
literally run the roost, and it's because we owe so much to them for this town.
Right.
It would just be a random stop to get orange juice, I guess, if it wasn't for Disney.
Tampa would still be fairly big because it's a port town, and
Right.
then Daytona would still be Daytona, and Orlando would be like the stop halfway,
Right. Exactly.
basically. And
Oh yeah.
It is like there's a lot of if it I still imagine Orlando would probably be a decent sized city without
Right.
Disney, but if it wasn't for Disney, it wouldn't be anywhere near what it is. There's no way.
Oh yeah. UCF, all of them owe a
Yeah.
lot to Disney.
And
it's
they
definitely a
give,
destination.
yeah, no doubt. And
I mean,
and they give back. The partnerships. I remember
oh,
the ESPN partnership that they had with Full Sail in particular. Like
hmm
they built a whole like ESPN broadcast centric studio in
yeah.
there. Like it's like that was nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's honestly one of the reasons why, the WWE chose Orlando as well, because it's a destination. Like,
Yeah.
when people, when you come here, there's so much to do. You like wrestling? Go watch an NXT show. You want to go for a vacation thing, you got all your Disney stuff. Like, there's just tons of stuff to do.
Yeah.
That's why I think, like, a lot of podcasts and stuff I listen to, and they talked about going to WrestleMania in Orlando, and they said they love it because you can do wrestling stuff, but if you want to stay here after WrestleMania for a week, you can go to the beach, you can go to Disney, you can relax, you can go to Universal Studios, there's so much to do. So
yeah. All the couple books I've been reading on NXT all agree on the same thing of like why they built the performance center down there and headquartered, like why they moved NXT to Full Sail and everything is that they were talking to people and they were like, look, it's Florida. Like
right.
that was a huge selling point of just where it was.
Oh yeah, I saw an interview that Alexa Bliss was doing with some random channel. I guess someone sent it to me, and it's because she talks about how, like, she was talking about how, like, she lives in the happiest place on earth. Because she's like, when I'm not at wrestling, I'm at Disney World. She's like, I used to go once a year, and now I go once a week. I thought that was funny.
I wish I had that kind of money. Are you kidding?
Oh yeah, well, you know what? You get if you live here, if you really love Disney, you can get an annual pass. And I think it's like $35 a month.
Yeah.
So if you really love Disney, it's not, and you live here in Florida, it's not that far fetched.
True. But how many parks does that cover though?
There's different packages.
That's
you
what
can
I mean.
You can get the one that's just Epcot.
Right.
And I think it's a lot cheaper. I think it's like $10 or $12.
Well, because it's Epcot. I mean, not to shit on Epcot, because I don't think I've been there. I think the only time I ever went there was the first time I was at Disney, and I was, it was like we're going to Disney, like, because we have a 4-year-old kind of trip,
Right.
But.
Well, Epcot, here, I'm gonna make a pitch for Epcot.
Okay, go for it.
Epcot is fantastic if you have a group of friends, especially adults, because there is the Food and Wine Festival.
Yeah.
So you can stop at each city or each country around Epcot, Mexico, France. You can try food, and of course you can try the beverages from all over the world, the beer, the wine, all of it. You can stop in Germany, and like the restaurants there are absolutely amazing. You can do where they have the stands and you can get like the finger food, or you can go and sit down in the restaurants and try like actual chocolate from Germany and the pastries and stuff like from France or whatever. Like they have the people there that actually know how to do all that stuff. So that's my favorite part of Epcot. That's why whenever my friends are like, hey, do you want to go to Disney? They always choose Epcot because they want to go drink around the world. You can go to Japan and have sake and all that other stuff. And it's cool. It's not something I'd go to, I mean, we went like 2 or 3 times a year, I think, last year.
Nice.
But that's why Epcot I think is really cool. And that's why it is the cheapest pass because there's not that many. There's like one ride, I think.
Right.
But it's more for like just older people that want to walk around the park. They have the flower and garden festival thingy or whatever every year where they deck out the whole park in flowers and roses and they have a butterfly garden and all that other stuff. But yeah, it's not like Hollywood Studios, which is getting the Star Wars and all that other stuff. And,
right.
Or the Magic Kingdom. If you got kids, you should go to Magic Kingdom. That's the one spot. But if you're older and you don't have kids, Magic Kingdom's it's got the magical Disney old school stuff. But if that's not you, then you're at Hollywood Studios, you're at Animal Kingdom, you're at Epcot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the passes are the more expensive the higher you go, where you get all the parks, excluding the water parks, it's a certain price. You can get all the parks with the water parks, it's an even higher price.
Sure.
You get all the parks with the water parks with no blackout dates, and you're talking a shitload of money.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Right. But I think the average Floridian, if they want Disney passes, they have probably just the regular parks with the blackout dates, and that's the more reasonable option. You can go higher if you really want the water parks, or if you don't want no blackout dates, but you got to be like super duper Disney fan,
Yeah.
Which is cool to have that option. So it's so much cheaper for Florida residents.
I know they're big on, like, parks love Florida resident discounts. Universal has it, Disney has it. Busch Gardens has it. Theirs was awesome because that was a park I never went to near as much as I wanted to.
Right, and Universal's good too. Universal is it's so underrated. It's criminally underrated, and they have some amazing rides, especially now with the whole Harry Potter stuff. It's a destination. If you love Harry Potter, man, you're there. Like that, I have friends that have the Universal passes. Universal is more for like teenagers. You know what I mean? Like the rides are a lot cooler. They're faster.
Yeah.
They're more intense and stuff like that. So that's where we went as teenagers, was Universal. They had Back to the Future and all those other rides, and they've changed them since. But they got the Transformers and stuff like that. But yeah, dude, yeah, it can get up there.
Yeah, holy shit! Like I'm looking at the prices now. Good God.
Yeah, how much are they?
So the Disney Platinum Plus Pass, which is admission for a year to all 4 theme parks, the 2 water parks, the Wide World of Sports Complex, and the Oak Trail Golf Course, no blackout dates, includes photo pass downloads, up to 20% off dining and merchandise, and parking.
That's the big Mac Daddy, big dick fucking
this is
ticket.
Yeah. For $869.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
The one below that, which is the 4 theme parks, but also has no blackout dates. Interestingly enough, it doesn't include the water parks or any of the other stuff, but it also has the photo pass downloads, the dining and merchandise discount, and parking. $779.
Right.
That's nuts.
Is that for Florida residents? I think it's like $100 cheaper for Florida residents.
It might be. It doesn't say. Yeah. Just as a special price. Yeah, this is just the regular pricing.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's good.
The ones that we would have, they were $350. This was a few years ago, and I remember it was the 4 Disney parks, no water parks, and it had the blackout dates.
Yeah.
Which is not that bad. $350 is not that bad if you go to Disney all the time. It's worth it if you know you're going to go more than twice a year.
Yes, agreed. Definitely agreed.
Yeah, if you're going to go more than twice a year, and if you live in Florida and you're single and you got a bunch of friends, it's great. If you're going to go on dates, like that's a place that they're not going to expect, and it's going to surprise them and wow them. Like,
true.
That would not be terribly bad. But
yeah, just for the record, after tax and everything, that Platinum Plus Pass comes to $925.
Yeah. Oh, I believe it.
That's got. So I mean, look, if you've got a spare $1,000, go for it. Like it's worth it. There's no doubt at all that it's totally worth it. But
to me, it's reasonable for Florida residents.
Yes.
But people that are like, that's people that live here. People that come here, you're not spending that much money.
No, God, no. No, get your 2 or 4 day pass or whatever. That's plenty. That's all you're gonna need, because you're also gonna have to pay for hotel and everything. You're gonna wind up spending about that much anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hotel, and who knows what the Star Wars hotel is gonna cost.
Oh Jesus, I can't even. Like, that's what I'm thinking. It's just like especially if it's gonna be that interactive and that totally immersive.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, so that platinum pass that you were talking about for Florida residents is $58 a month. So like the one for the Disney Platinum Plus pass.
Yeah, so $58 a month. That's
right.
$581,
$818.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so like the Epcot one, $13 a month.
Shit.
The Disney Weekend Select Pass is $14. The Disney Silver Pass is $27. I think that's the one that I had, the one that had the blackout dates. Yeah, okay. That was the one.
Okay.
That was the more reasonable one.
Right, and that's and think about all that gets you. If you go once a month and it costs you if it costs you $27 to go to Disney once a month, that's worth it. And then some. Are you kidding?
Oh, it's totally, absolutely,
yeah.
So, yeah, it's not. It can get crazy. It can get absolutely stupid crazy, but
sure.
But it's fun though. It's definitely fun, especially if you can get like a group of people that are like, let's go to Disney, like let's all throw down and get this together.
Yeah.
So that makes it even better when you're like, okay, well, we got the pass, this family's got the pass, they got the pass. You can call them up and be like, hey, let's go. We know you got the pass. That's what makes it better.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So is there any more news? Because we got a few minutes before the break. Was there anything coming out of the Disney stuff?
I think that was like everything I had seen from D23.
They had some Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff that came out of it.
Now, was that I didn't know, was that from D23? Was that from before D23?
It was from D23.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about that now.
Yeah, the big news came from that was that it's first of all going to be supposedly released 2018.
Yeah, well.
But I'm thinking more realistically they're going to be like, let's push it to early 2019.
We'll see. I don't know. They've been working on it for a while.
They have. Apparently it's like the director came out and threw Square under the bus.
Ouch.
And was like, it's not my fault that this is taking so long. This is totally Square's fault. And it's because they had someone else working on the game and they switched it. And apparently they created, I don't know, it has something to do with I don't know. I'm not going to go into it. But another big part of the news was that Toy Story was going to be one of the worlds in the game.
Yeah, and
which looked fun.
Yeah, it's like they showed Andy's room, but then they also showed like the driveway and everything. So it's not just like, it looks like it's going to be a fairly decent sized area.
Yeah, and it looks like it doesn't look like a video game version of Toy Story. It looks like 1-to-1 Toy Story.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go check that trailer out. It looks amazing.
Yeah, and like there's a point where they get inside of the toy and you're playing like a mech type thing and you're in a toy store, it looked like.
Yeah, I think you're in Al's Toy Barn. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was cool. I'm waiting, and I think everyone else is, and maybe this is what held it back somewhat. I think maybe the Square was like, oh shit, we got to put Star Wars and Marvel in here. That probably pushed everything back.
I don't know.
Well, think about it. You're halfway through the game, and Marvel and Disney gets the rights to Star Wars and Marvel.
True, but I mean, we haven't seen any of that though.
Not just yet, but we will probably next year. They're probably holding all of that back till probably E3 or something before it comes out.
Maybe we might see it at PSX. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, we've only really seen one world, right? One or two, that's it.
Yeah, like the rest of them have just been like, oh, here's a courtyard or something that they're fighting,
right?
Kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure the big stuff's gonna come later, and that would make perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like to completely halt a game. If Square was like, no, we need Star Wars and Marvel in there. Yeah. Imagine how much you'd sell.
True. true.
We got to take a quick break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and I think that'll do it for our D23 news. We got some movie news, though. Warner Brothers announced 2 new release dates for unannounced projects. February 14th, 2020, and June 5th, 2020. Rumors suggest it would be Wonder Woman 2 to be announced at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's what that's what everybody's talking about. So.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. That'd be interesting. They've got something slated for Valentine's Day? Really? Why?
Maybe the Harley Quinn movie?
Look, that wouldn't be a stupid idea.
No, I mean, that's what they did with Deadpool, and she is their Deadpool now, and she can have a movie about her being in love with the Joker. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you see the trailer for the Wonder Woman movie, Professor Morstan and the Wonder Woman?
No. What happened?
It's a movie about the creator of Wonder Woman.
Okay. And
how the creator was in a, what do you call it, a polygamous relationship with his wife?
Polyamorous, yeah.
Polyamorous, yeah. It's about, like, BDSM and all the stuff that he was into. And it was just released. You haven't seen the trailer for it?
No, I haven't.
You should check it out. It looks really interesting.
Okay,
the movie looks like, him and his wife kind of fawned over this woman that's in college, and it's I don't know. It's I guess it's about how his wife is a big feminist, and like just the stuff they're doing, even to today's standards, seem like crazy to some people.
Yeah.
About being bisexual and all that other stuff. Like in the trailer, it shows all of that, and you get a good idea of, oh shit, like he put a lot of his personal life into this comic book with this character, and his idea of a perfect woman and stuff like that. And it shows the like the lie detector test, and of course with the lasso and stuff like that. And I don't know. It's a crazy looking film. It's supposed to come out this year. I posted it on Facebook. You guys should check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But it looks interesting. I first saw that and I was like, wow, this looks amazing. But yeah, so we got some Batman news. Matt Reeves is ditching Affleck's script and will collaborate with Jeff Johns.
Yeah, there were murmurs of this a little while ago, and now even he came out and he confirmed. He's like, "Yeah, we're not gonna use this script."
Yeah,
and
I hope they release it. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if the internet will explode about it the way they did with Joss Whedon's rejected Wonder Woman script.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that because God forbid, not everything somebody writes is perfect.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's not the movie we're going to get, so why not know what we were going to get?
True.
And, there's nothing that can come from it, except for learning,
Yeah, true. No, very true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder if this was in response to Wonder Woman. Like how audiences, if it was in, let me figure out the English for this. If this was in response to the response to Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe they looked at the script and they were like, hey, this would have made a really great, like, Man of Steel kind of film, but we don't want to do that anymore.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's still just baffles me, DC and Warner Brothers Studios, and hearing the things like they never thought that the whole sequence would work where she goes into no man's land and stuff like that.
That astounds me that they were like, this probably won't work. It's arguably the biggest, it's the turning point for the film.
Exactly, and how she had to fight for it.
Yeah,
everything.
It's like that, man. It just and here's the thing. It just goes to show you that filmmaking is it is a bizarre process. It is a very strange, very convoluted, very bizarre process. And, that's why I would love to read, like, first drafts of movies that came out that were awful. Because I'll guarantee you, I will guarantee you that most of those movies, not all of them, but the overwhelming majority of those movies, the first draft of the script you would look at and go, oh, wow, this looks cool. And then it goes through the process of getting made, and at the end of it, you wind up with, sucker punch, basically.
Exactly. That's a lot of stuff that Max Landis talks about, too. Like, a lot of the scripts look fantastic going in, and then it doesn't look the same going out.
Yeah, and as a writer, you can only fight for so much. At the end of the day, you're not the one paying for it.
And I think it was him that said on Twitter, it was like, when all the stuff went down with the Han Solo movie, and I think it was him that was like, this is like the first time that a studio has backed a writer,
Yeah, but Lord Miller are writers too, so that's
true.
And they didn't really.
They didn't write this. They didn't write the movie script.
No, but they, this isn't. It's not like they just come in and direct and then that's it. Like they're hands on with it. They're not just. We've heard.
I guess what his point was, like, there's a lot of movie that Max writes, he doesn't direct,
right?
And so that no one's going to be like, if Max goes, wait a second, that's not the script. They're going to back the director. I guess that was his point.
Right.
Well, for one of his videos that I saw, I was like, I didn't think about that. That usually it's the director that is the guy that's in charge.
More often than not, yeah.
Clearly it's the producers, but yeah.
Well, hey, look, there's, and here's the thing. Yeah. It's about that confluence. Do you have a good director and a good producer and a good writer? And sometimes you have writer-directors. More and more frequently, you're finding writer-producers. There are a handful that are just great examples of, like, no, here's how you have to work to get a movie made. But so many projects are just full of people who are like, no, we just have to get this done. And that's just, it's bad, and it's unfortunate that tends to be the norm. But there are a ton of other examples of how it can work and should work, but it's not yet the prevailing school of thought. But that's until that day, we're gonna keep getting Transformers 17. They're gonna keep fucking happening.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the business of the movie industry is business. That's why we got planes, made money.
I'm just glad that I'm not, oh man, I don't know.
I couldn't do any of those jobs. If I was someone who was that passionate about a movie, as anybody, writer, director, actor, producer, editor, take your pick, and had to bow and scrape to the people who were writing the checks because they came in and said, no, this is how it's going to be. They're not all like that. Some of them will give you notes and then you can work with them. But how many of them, we've seen the proof in the finished product that they just come up and say, no, this is what you're going to do. This is what we want. And that's the bottom line. And either you do it or you're fired, because they can replace you just like that. I mean, I feel that strongly about delivering pizzas, and this place is killing me. I can't imagine what it's like to do that on a movie with $150 million budget. Like, I just... No.
Yeah.
And how long and hard, especially screenwriters, have to work on these things. And then if it gets taken away from them and it gets, in their eyes and maybe in other people's eyes, just mutilated because of business, like I couldn't do it. I don't have the moral toughness for that. There's no way.
Right. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Let's see here. What else? What other movie news? Oh, we got some Ready Player One news. they released the first. Did you see the photo?
Yeah, it's just like him. He's got his goggles and his gloves on, and he's like reaching around in the van and everything. It's like, that's neat.
Yeah, it's got a ton of Easter eggs.
Oh yeah.
Cabbage Patch Kid dolls. Or no, Garbage Pail Kid.
Yeah, that's it.
Stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, a ton of magazines and stuff. Looks cool. He's not. He should be way chubbier.
Yeah, the way they talked about, the way they described him in the book was like, yeah, he starts off as a little on the chunky side.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a VR headset on all the time, all day long. It makes sense, but they can't do that, I guess, for the film.
Hey, if stories are told, but with beautiful people,
Yep. We got Universal removes David Ayer from Scarface remake.
Yeah. Did you see why?
He said the script was too dark.
Too dark for fucking Scarface. Are you kidding me? Have you seen the movie?
I want to know how dark he thought. Like, I want to know how dark this movie really is.
Like, was he gonna go out and like, was his cocaine gonna be like covered in the blood of hookers he'd slaughtered? Like, how? I mean, it's Scarface, man. This
right.
it's a dark freaking story. I don't understand. I mean, he must have written, like American Psycho, but with Scarface in it, I guess. I don't understand that. I really don't.
I don't know either. Now, I didn't see the trailer for this, but A Wrinkle in Time, wasn't that a D23?
Yeah, I think that was something else they had there.
So what's that about?
I couldn't tell you because every time I try to read it, I get lost immediately. It's a kid's book. It's a young adult book, and it's about, I don't know what. It's science or magic or something. I genuinely do not know, because like 10 pages in, they're already throwing names and terms and ideas at you, and I'm just like, I don't have time to hack through the jargon jungle here. I don't have it. But it looked amazing. Like, it looked fantastic, and I
remember seeing, like, I saw a picture of Oprah Winfrey, but that was it.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm looking forward to it. It looks great. And by all accounts, it's a great. The Wrinkle in Time quintet is really great. But it's start and stop with me. I don't know.
Right. Oh yeah. All right. And I think that'll do it for movie news.
Yeah, I didn't see much else. Oh.
Yeah. We got some TV news, just a little bit though.
Hallelujah.
You go and take this.
Yes. After Wimbledon, it was announced that Jodie Whittaker will be the first ever female doctor. I'm so excited. I'm genuinely thrilled at this because it's about goddamn time.
Oh, yeah. You've been talking about this forever.
Well, they were going to do one for the last one. Like, it wasn't going to be, they were hoping for one, and we got Capaldi, which is not a bad thing in the sense that Capaldi was great. His doctor was fantastic. But it's time. It's time we stopped having white dudes. Like, I am so over white guys in everything. Like, I want more diversity. I want more perspectives, because then we get better performances. We get better stories when it's told from different points of view with people with different experiences. Like, we need more of that. It helps the story process. So I loved all of the outrage of like how this is unrealistic. Because the fact that the Doctor is an alien who regenerates, that travels around in a British police box that's, infinitely larger on the inside and travels through space and time and deals with all different manner of aliens and whatnot, can't be a woman. That's too far. That's the line. Nope, can't happen.
Right.
That's
the line.
Really, just like, have you seen Daleks? Like, have you seen what these things look like? And you're telling me that's the line? Really?
Man, people got mad.
So furious.
And you can tell most of them never seen an episode in their life.
No. It's
No.
I
They're just mad, outrage culture. They're just mad to be mad.
It is, and I'm getting tired of it. I'm getting so tired of anytime anything ever is announced, somebody's gonna be mad. And I understand that occasionally there are justifiable grievances, but
right.
I'm gonna kick a hornet's nest here, because a lot of people that I saw, there was a large enough gathering online of people that were upset at Naomi Scott's casting as Jasmine, because her lineage is Indian and the story is supposedly Arabian. That's where we are with this. And I not being of either culture, just kind of want to take a step back and not throw my hat into this ring. But I say this from my white privilege perch. You kind of have to take the victories as you can get them.
Right.
I think that there's a way to make this argument. There is a way to say, this is great. This is much more progressive. This is more forward. This is better culturally. Next time, let's hit a little closer to the mark. And
no, I agree.
Instead of just being mad, be constructive, I guess, is my message.
Right.
But
yeah.
So that's
you gotta take your wins.
Yeah.
When you can get them.
And I am not one of these who feels like we have lost something because they don't have white people in these movies anymore. I've seen that, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, I don't get that.
I mean, I don't understand.
Right.
I don't know. Bring on the diversity. I want more diversity. I'm all for it because it makes things better. It does.
And I guess I could see people of that culture. Like, I could see why if someone saw like a British guy British character getting cast from like an Irish guy or something, you'd be like, that guy's Irish, or Russian and a German or something like that. So I totally get that, but you gotta. I don't know. That's crazy. I didn't know she was Indian.
Yeah. From her mother's side, I think.
Was she in the new Power Rangers movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was the Pink Ranger.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And good. Like that's
she did a good job. Yeah.
She did. And I mean that's the thing. It's just like, hey, what do you know? Different actors from different cultures are still good actors. Like who would have thought? Who would have ever imagined?
Exactly.
I'm just tired of British people playing Americans. That pisses me off.
Yeah, could you imagine?
We couldn't have found an American to play Peter Parker. We had to get Tom Holland, who's British. Fuck that.
We had to get two of them.
Yeah, right.
The two Brits. Yep.
You see, it's insane. It's just stupid.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. When we get back, I think we'll hop into some our big topic. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and for our big topic this week, what we're going to do, just because it was D23 this week and it's been like all Disney news, we just kind of wanted to geek out about Disney for this section. So we're going to kind of talk about how, like, just, people our age, Disney's just always been there.
Yeah.
Forever. You can't remember a time that Disney didn't exist in some way, shape, or form. And especially being from Florida, I am. It's great. It's just always been there. It's been in my backyard. It is. I remember reading, like, we had the comic books, we had the golden books.
Yeah.
Growing up, it's just. And then we got older, we had the Disney Channel and the movies, and you had to get the movies before they were back in the vault. And so basically we just kind of wanted to geek out about some of our favorite Disney things, for the next segment or so. And yeah, man, so like what is your first Disney memory, Logan, or that you can think of?
The first thing that I can think of, the earliest, because I'm sure there were some before, Like, I'm sure, like, I don't remember when I saw Aladdin, but I'm sure it was early. But the first like definite Disney experience I remember is going to see The Lion King in theaters.
Oh, okay.
That's my first. Like I said, like I know I went to Disney when I was really little, but I remember none of that.
Right.
I just remember we were there, and I have pictures that say I was there, so I'll take their word for it. But that was the first like Disney thing that I can really remember.
Yeah. I'm a little bit older than you. So I remember going to see Aladdin in the theater, which was before that. I saw Beauty and the Beast in the theater. I remember seeing that. But I think that's it. I remember seeing on like VHS tape, Fox and the Hound and The Jungle Book, and like the classics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cinderella and stuff like that. But it wasn't. I think Aladdin. No, it was Beauty and the Beast. Which one came out first?
Beauty and the Beast. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, Beauty and the Beast. I remember going to that and the segment when they were dancing, and it was CGI and it just looked completely different.
Yeah.
That blew me away. But I think Aladdin was the big one that I remember going to the theater, getting the popcorn with it was my grandma, and with me and my brothers just totally loving it, and the genie laughing at everything. Of course, when you're a kid, you don't understand all the inside references, and you just know that he's funny and everything he's saying is ridiculous, and sometimes he's modern and sometimes he's like when he's like in the song where like it looks like a parade in the background, and
they do the Macy's like Thanksgiving Day parade commentary over it. So
exactly. Yeah. And as a kid, you're like, I know that imagery and what he's doing, but you didn't really get it. So, but it was funny, and it was fun, and I think like you, Lion King, and like me too, that was the one. That was Lion King was my favorite movie for years. Definitely my favorite children's movie. I think to this day that was my thinking back, that was my favorite children's movie, because man, when we saw that, we must have seen it a gazillion times.
Oh, at least, yeah.
Especially when I went to the Dollar Theater. I think we went like weekly to go see it. It seems like I'm probably exaggerating, but that's what it felt like, and it was the movie that we would just geek out on. Now, did Jurassic Park come out before that or after that?
After. I want to say after, but not by much.
Yeah, 1993 is when Jurassic Park came out, so I think it came out before that.
It would have been before then, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember seeing that in the theater. It was around the same time, so Jurassic Park came out, and then Lion King came out after that, and that was the magical, like that, and I think for you too, probably those were the years when we went to the theater and was just blown away.
Yeah.
By everything we saw. So I remember we were in like a summer camp or after school program or something like that, and we did like a Lion King play, and we would sing the songs and everything else. So like that stuff was, and I think at the same time, dude, we were watching what was that TV show, the Goofy movie TV show?
Yeah, because they did. Yeah, that's right, they did that. It was I know it had Goofy in the title.
Wasn't it a Goofy show?
It was just like a Goofy family or something?
Goof Troop?
Goof Troop. Duh, that's it. Goof Troop. Goof Troop.
Yes.
How did I forget that, man? The song, even had the damn song.
Yeah, that was the show. Maybe that came out after a Goofy movie.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, I think that's where it spun from.
Yeah. Now see, Nightmare Before Christmas came out around this time. I was never a fan of that.
I was kind of the same way. Like I saw it, of course, when it was like we had it on VHS because it was another Disney movie. I wish I still had our Disney VHS library because we had freaking all of them.
Oh
But
yeah. My little brother has it because he was the first of us to have a kid. So my grandma gave him all the VHS tapes, and it was
nice.
everything. Yeah, it was every Disney movie you can think of, especially the animated ones. Um, Fox and the Hound and Jungle Book and Sleeping Beauty, Peter Pan, Cinderella, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting. Actually, a Goofy movie came from the series. The series came first.
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember being super popular. Like, I loved it. Goofy's probably, out of all the Disney characters, Goofy's got to be my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Oh yeah, whenever I go to Disney and you know before they got Star Wars and Marvel, I was like, I want the Goofy character,
Yeah.
on my ticket. um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I never got the whole Tim Burton stuff. I mean, I never was a fan of any of this stuff. I know he did like what Pee-wee's Big Adventure,
Yeah.
Beetlejuice,
I liked
Batman.
now I liked Beetlejuice. I liked Beetlejuice and I liked Batman.
Yeah. Uh, saw a clip. I was at the Geek Easy a few weeks back, and they played one of the songs from Beetlejuice, like at the end where she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not gonna do the song here on the radio, but it
Check,
was like
check,
what they were
zero.
showing. I was like, oh man, I did not appreciate this when I was a kid.
No, it's definitely they're definitely ones you can go back now and you're like, oh, if that was your first experience to it was as a kid, and then you go
Yeah.
back, after, like in your
Mhm.
teens or especially in your 20s in
Yeah.
particular, and you watch it again and you're just like, oh, I didn't. Okay, now I get it.
Now I see what they were doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never got into Nightmare Before Christmas, and I know there's a whole bunch of people that are fans of it, but just not my thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did later. Like
yeah,
I wasn't crazy about the animation when I was a kid.
yeah,
That was what it was for me. Like I didn't really like the visuals.
yeah. And there was what did they do later? Like James and the Giant Peach, same kind of animation.
Same kind of thing. Yeah, we had to watch out for school, and I was like, okay, this is different. Like I don't really like this.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. But yeah, man, Lion King and Goofy Movie. Goofy Movie is just that's so good.
Yeah, you go back and watch it now. That really holds up because
Yeah.
it's just a dad trying to bond with his son and how that can go horribly right and horribly wrong. Like it's
One of my all-time favorite things, and they do it in a Goofy movie.
yeah.
It has always been when Goofy somehow stumbles into a room and a woman is changing, and he does that face
Yes.
where he like puts his hands on his nose and he starts twiddling his ears and
Yeah,
he
every
does the
time.
gorsh like noise. That has always been my favorite thing, and he's been doing that since like classic Goofy,
Yeah.
like way back in the 60s and before that, whenever Goofy was a thing then. Um, come to think about it, that's probably my earliest experiences with Disney is some of those classic cartoons with Goofy on the football field and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never really saw a lot of
Oh, you
those.
never saw those?
Like I did later on, but like
Uh,
not when I was younger. I didn't see too many of those, I don't think.
yeah, I remember watching that as a kid. Those old school. Goofy was always my favorite because just how Goofy was.
Yeah.
And yeah, whenever he's caught, like, and he does that exact thing in the movie when he busts in the dressing room of somebody and he just makes that face. It's so funny, cracks me up every time. But yeah, Goofy Movie is just that was on another level, and I think that we were at the perfect time in our lives because that's when you're I think it was what 1995. Oh God, what?
Yeah.
How old was I? I was 10, and that's when you're like, oh damn, Jessica's a cute. Like that's when you really start like noticing girls and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
so
true. True.
yeah, and so it was the perfect age for that, where the whole he's trying to impress a girl the whole film. So, but yeah, you got what Pocahontas, great film. After that, like that's when the Toy Story stuff, the Pixar stuff.
Yeah, that kind of took over. I mean, Disney held their own for a while because they had like The Emperor's New Groove and Hercules. Hercules, I remember was one of my absolute favorites.
Yeah.
And I remember because I had a buddy here in North Carolina who his family owned a bunch of McDonald's, so he had
Oh, wow.
all the merch, he had all the plates, everything.
Oh, that's
I was
awesome.
like, these are awesome, these are amazing.
That's really cool. Oh yeah, I remember going on like a summer vacation trip thing with my grandparents. We were in like they had a big RV thing that they say they loved, but I know they regretted getting because they only went one place a year.
Yeah.
And I remember we took that and we watched Hercules in the RV for like over and over and over again
Yeah.
while we played Pokemon in the back. But yeah.
You want to talk about a quintessential 90s experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, yeah, totally. I think we had our cassette tapes with Green Day's Dookie on it and stuff.
Yeah, and do it.
Yeah, but man, yeah, that was that. Yeah, Hercules was great.
Yeah, we're there.
Mulan. Now Mulan was probably for me the last animated Disney movie that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
From my childhood, I guess,
right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
I love all the I love all the stuff coming out of that, but that's when it like turned into like computer animation, if that makes sense.
It held on for me for a little bit more because they did, they had Lilo and Stitch and the Emperor's New Groove. But
Okay.
like once they switched to, I think Lilo and Stitch was the last one for me, because then they did Treasure Planet, which I have not seen since then. So I don't remember it that much. But then they did Brother Bear, and that was when it kind of fell off for me.
Gotcha.
That was what, like 03, I think, something like that.
03. Yeah.
But
yep.
That was
Teacher's Pet. I've never heard of that. Disney's Teacher's Pet. Never heard of that.
That must
I guess it came out after Brother Bear.
I've never heard of it.
And Home on the Range.
Home on the Range,
one.
I knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, and then they did Chicken Little and Meet the Robinsons, and it wasn't until because they did Princess and the Frog, and that was a nice like return to old Disney. And I thought, oh, okay, well this could be kind of neat. And then they switched to the 3D stuff when they did Tangled, and that was when they started taking off again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there was a good probably like 7 8 year stretch where I was just it was all Pixar.
Yeah, it was The Incredibles, Ratatouille, WALL-E, Bolt Up. Up's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
By far. Doug is arguably my favorite Pixar character.
Because
I love that damn dog.
Yeah. I can see
He was the best. Just a talking golden retriever. It was just perfect.
Yeah. What's a Disney movie that came out like before, like what's an older Disney movie that you found later that you really loved?
That I found later?
Yeah, like that maybe like that we didn't, that like wasn't, like we didn't see it as it came out, but one that like you went back through and you found it and you were just like, oh man, this is amazing.
I'm trying to think. I liked the DuckTales movie.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think because I saw a lot of these when they came out. The ones that were way before, like, I don't know, like we had Fox and the Hound. I've watched Robin Hood.
Yeah.
The Jungle Book was always something I liked. But that of course is from the 60s. Yeah. I can't think of one that I went back and I was like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah, I've got two, and of course one was Robin Hood, because I was just, because it was like it had come and gone, long before me. But,
right.
When I watched it, I was like, this, like, what? This is incredible. But I think my favorite of the pre-Logan era, and it doesn't beat me by much, but it's still there, is The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
That may be, that is always like in my top 5 favorite Disney films. It's just, it's so damn good.
Yeah. That is a good one. I'm trying to think. No, I mean, The Rescuers Down Under I liked.
Yeah.
I like the Five Mouse movies, but I don't think they were Disney.
They weren't Disney. No, they were Fox, I think.
They were Fox. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were good films.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy on the first American Tail, but I remember seeing Five Goes West in theaters. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. And he does the crazy eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, and the TV shows like DuckTales and all that stuff, and
Gargoyles and all that. Yeah, so much.
Yeah, those are classics. Those are absolute classics. And yeah, it just seems like now we're getting a good. It seems like Walt Disney is having, a comeback now. Big Hero 6 was huge.
Yeah.
Frozen, of course, massive success.
Zootopia, Moana, like they're
Zootopia.
They keep cranking them out, man. And now they're, with the live action stuff, and it was easy at first to write it off as just like a cynical cash grab, but they've been damn good.
And most people don't know the difference between Walt Disney Animation and Pixar now, and I think that is awesome.
Well, because they own Pixar.
Right. But I mean, if someone goes to see Moana, they think it's Pixar, and it's actually Disney.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's cool, right?
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
Yeah, because I mean, well, most people when they see that, they're like, oh yeah, that's the people who did Monsters Inc. and blah blah blah, and it's really no, that's Disney. But you're right, it's all mixed together now.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But okay, we're coming up against a break. We'll be back in a moment. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you guys all in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we talked a lot about Disney movies. We talked some about the TV shows. Was there any TV show that you really liked as a kid or when you grew, teenager?
I kind of fell out of Disney. Like they were always kind of third for me. Like it was Nickelodeon and then Cartoon Network and then Disney.
Same here. I think when I was a kid, I watched a lot more because it had DuckTales and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I was never the person that watched any of the Disney shows. And I know there were a lot of live action ones, but I was at the age where that just wasn't cool or whatever. Yeah. So I wasn't watching it.
Well, and like a lot of the cartoons and stuff were on ABC. Like they even like Gargoyles and stuff. I think like predates the Disney Channel.
Right. Yeah, I watched stuff like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I remember anytime we went to CC's, that's when I would watch a Disney Channel show because they always had some.
That's what was on.
It was like Zack and Cody or one of those random shows.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's cool. I get why people like that. But what about games? I mean, I know that like Aladdin and Lion King were probably some of my favorite on the Super Nintendo. Toy Story was good too.
Toy Story was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. And then later on, I didn't play really many Disney games after that, but
they didn't make a whole lot of them after that.
That's true.
They kind of stopped. I mean, they went back to it with Epic Mickey, and they did what was it, Castles of Illusion, which was really like that was good. That was the first time I'd ever been excited about Mickey. Like I was never. Like, I liked kind of everything about Disney except Mickey. Like, I always thought he was just kind of bland and boring and not, I got it. I understood that, like, he was the big thing at the beginning. That's cool.
Right.
But he hadn't really been, like, they had kind of shelved him for years.
Right.
So, I was just, he was just like, oh, he's Mickey Mouse, but, what's he done in the last however long?
Yeah, it was such a cool idea too. It was like this hidden character that just never made it in Disney. Mickey did.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. The whole story of Mickey Mouse, Walt Disney is super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think that'll wrap up our Disney talk. We got still a ton to talk about. Real fast, did you see that the WWE was canceling Talking Smack after the weekly show? They're still going to keep it for the pay-per-views.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like Raw Talk now, where it's like, and after the pay-per-view, stay tuned for. No, are you kidding me? Without Talking Smack, we don't get the Miz doing what he did. Like Talking Smack has been awesome, and that's why Vince McMahon killed it. when anything like this happens, it's all going to be laying at the feet of the chairman of the board, and that's, and I don't think he would have it any other way. Really, he would want the buck to stop there. But the problem is when something like this happens, maybe not so much, because it's I just, like, the show was awesome. It was like half scripted ish. So you got some awkward moments, sure, but you got some really amazing character work. Mm-hmm. And it's gonna suck that it's gone. It really is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's terrible. That was their reactions and being live and stuff like that. That's some of the best stuff.
Yeah.
Like you said, The Miz just has he's come such a long way back. So it's a shame.
Based off the strength of the promo that he did on, what was it? Was it the first or second episode of that show? And he just came out and they let him have the freedom to just own it, and fuck, did he ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But so yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see Raw? What are your thoughts on Kurt Angle and his son?
I'll tell you what, Kurt Angle does not get enough credit, I think, for how he is willing to sell just anything. He commits 100%, and God bless him for that. Because this kind of stupid Maury Povich 1995 like Attitude Era crap, like just like this whole like, and not even 95, like late 90s, but just this drama soap opera nonsense. Like we don't need this, really. I mean, it's happened, so I hope they make the most of it, and I hope it works, because Jordan's a hell of a hand, and I hope this goes somewhere. But it just, the fact that almost every other superstar on Twitter has joked about this so much. Right. My favorite was Chad Gable, who all he tweeted was, okay?
Right.
It's like
shouldn't have been him that was picked. Wasn't he a real Olympian?
Yeah, I think so.
I saw a meme. It was really funny. It was basically like, you've ever seen the SpongeBob one where it's his face and everything around him is shaking, like, oh shit, I just made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And it was like Kurt Angle. It was like when Kurt Angle realizes he said the wrong name, and now he just has to live with that lie.
Right. I mean, look. Here's my thing. Is like this. And I put this up in the group that we're in. Just, this is the way I see it, is that like around Survivor Series we start hearing like exactly that, like, oh no, it was the wrong member of American Alpha and it's actually Chad Gable, and so Jason turns heel and beats the hell out of Chad, and Kurt's trying to keep the peace, and it leads to a big match at Mania or something for him. I don't know, but just like can we stop breaking up the tag teams, please?
That's all they've done this year.
The scene is in trouble as it is, man.
Like, and the Enzo and Cass stuff. Like, did you hear about the news that they got a lot of heat?
Yeah, because they're not apparently really fun people backstage.
Yeah. I guess Enzo opened up his mouth on the bus about his real life being more exciting than his fake life, and I don't know, something. Roman Reigns kicked him off the bus, and it's not that far of a stretch for Enzo to hear that he was.
I could imagine
he lives the gimmick.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah. And Cass apparently a big Trump supporter, so of course he's getting a lot of respect from the higher ups, because the whole family.
I was gonna say, like, he apparently that's got him heat with the boys, but I would imagine like the higher ups because of their connection.
Yeah, and this was on the Wrestling Observer, so I mean, take it all with a grain of salt, but they usually know their stuff.
They pretty much have their shit down.
Right. Exactly. So it's a shame. I could understand why Enzo would be frustrated at, like, what a waste that was. Not only that, but where do you go from here? Like,
right.
When your character was the, like that old Looney Tunes cartoon where you're the little chicken who talks all the crap, but you got a big guy to back him up. Now what does your character do? Who knows? Hopefully he thrives, but the way they're booking him, just getting killed.
Yeah.
It's not. It's like, what do you do?
No.
If anything with Chad Gable, who knows? Maybe he becomes a rock star after this, especially because he'll be on SmackDown where he can actually become something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you do with Jordan? What is he gonna do?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I still maintain that if they should have just made Enzo Cass's manager. That was it. That's all they needed to do. It would have been perfect. It would have been the absolute right split for that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Cass looks like such a nice guy. You can't boo him. Like he's doing all this terrible stuff, but he's got a smile on his face. He looks green.
Yeah, he does.
You know, he looks like a young kid, where the Big Show looks like he's been there for a while and he could be menacing, but Cass just looks like a kid. He looks like a tall giant kid. Yeah. And it's not working, and I don't think it's going to work, and I hate that because, you know, back when we started all this, when I started getting back into wrestling, those were the guys that I liked. I was like, those two, on paper their gimmick sounds like garbage and people you don't want to be around, but the way they made it work was so entertaining and so awesome and cool and whatever. It's a shame that happened. They'll never see the belts now. Who knows? Maybe a year down the road they're like, oh, we fucked up and we need to get them back together.
Yeah, give it a few years, and if both of them stick with the company, like, I could see it would be a hell of an angle to bring them back together. And I think that if both of them stick around or are kept around, right, they can plant the seeds for that a ways down the road and do it. They could. And I mean,
bigger things have happened. Like, look right now with the Shield stuff. Like, they're hinting at that.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least with them two, they could be. I don't see Roman being in the mix, but I could totally see Dean. I could see Dean turning on not Ambrose, but Seth Rollins.
I wish they'd do something with him. Like, right. I don't, man, like, I want to like Dean, I really do, but I can't find anything there to really latch onto.
Right.
I don't know. And then, I'm hoping that the way they're booking the main scene on Raw is going to lead to a fatal 4-way at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want that match because, God, would that be an amazing match.
I want Braun Strowman to have it.
I do too.
That's all I want. I want him to be. What's up?
He's earned it. Like, look at how much he's improved in the last year. It's mental.
Look at the ratings when he's on it. Think about the last year since WrestleMania. Right. Think about all of the moments that you could go back and look and go, that's going to be on highlight reels for 5 to 10 years from now. Right. It's going to be Braun Strowman destroying Roman Reigns. It's going to be him destroying a ring. Like, there's so many wow moments. All the other stuff you're going to probably forget, who wins the match and stuff like that. But it's going to be him lifting up an ambulance and flipping it over. Yeah. It's going to be moments like that, and it's all Braun Strowman. And as much as, like, Vince is the guy that wants the big, bruv, this makes sense. This is awesome, and this is working.
Braun is Vince McMahon loves big, sweaty men. Well, they don't get much bigger or sweatier than Braun. Like,
and he's so over because he's destroying the guy in the company that everybody hates. Yeah. And it works, and it's working for Roman, dude. It's working for him. Roman is in all the main matches now, so love him or hate him, he's in there, and they just need to make him a heel. That's the only problem I see out of it.
It'll never happen.
I know. I
wish it would, because he could own it. I believe that if they turned him heel, he would take that ball and sprint with it, and would be awesome. I think he would make an incredible heel. And then eventually, swing him back around to being a good guy, because you can get there. But right now, when it's just, hey, he's the whole, I'm not a good guy, I'm not a bad guy, I'm the guy. Shut up.
Tried to murder somebody.
Right? Like, what a heel thing to do, man.
And he's like, well, hey, look what he did to me. Like,
well,
that's not how it works.
No.
That's not how laws work. You can't attempt to murder somebody.
And I mean, there's, Braun was supposed to do something like that because they were billing him as this monster. And you would expect a monster to do that. But, you can book a way for Roman to get revenge and just beat the living crap out of him. But not like that. Like, that is not, that's not how that works.
Right. I got mad when he came out, and he was like, I'm like, the night before he lost the match, he comes out the next day, and he's like, I should be the one to get, and I'm like, no, don't do this, I did not want to see him and Joe and Brock have just been gold.
That's been, they had a hell of a feud, and they had a hell of a match.
Yeah.
That was a match, man. Just to see Joe just own Brock for that first, like, before the Bell Assault, and to watch Brock sell it. That's always kind of been the fear, is like, oh, is Brock just not gonna stay down? And to see him be willing to take a beating and show that he's taken a beating, and then, the rally and I'm the beast incarnate, you can't stop me, blah, 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 that works. They told that story just fantastically well.
Right. Oh, yeah. I thought it was great. And I hope Brock does lose it. I want it to be to either Joe or to Braun, not Roman again. But...
No, it'll be Braun, and then it'll probably be Roman Strowman at Mania, and I hate that idea. So much.
And real fast, I don't have it in front of me, and I don't know if you know. We got to be closing up soon, but what's coming up on Backlash? That's this weekend. What are the matches for that?
Battlegrounds.
Sorry.
The only ones that I'm aware of are the Punjabi prison match, which is a god awful terrible match anyway.
Explain what that is to the people who don't know.
So you're locked inside a bamboo cage, which is locked inside a taller bamboo cage, and you have to escape both of them in order to win. It's as dumb as it sounds. It started with the Great Khali against the Undertaker, and then the Great Khali got injured, so it became Big Show versus Undertaker, at which point the stipulation made no sense. It's going to be a bad match.
Okay.
So here's what we know. We've got one for the pre-show, Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. Fine.
Okay.
Jinder Mahal, Randy Orton, Punjabi prison match, WWE title. The Usos versus the New Day for the tag titles. John Cena versus Rusev in a flag match. I
like that Rusev's back.
Yeah, I do too. The one that I'm really looking forward to is the Fatal 5-Way elimination match between Charlotte, Becky, Natalya, Tamina, and Lana to determine the number one contender for the women's title. Nakamura and Corbin in a singles match. Styles and Owens for the U.S. title. And Breezango is going to have a match against... we don't know yet, so...
Okay.
So that's what it looks like. That's what the card looks like. And by now we'll know, because SmackDown's over and we'll have a full card. So when you're hearing this, they'll have a full set card.
Okay, man. I hope Nakamura gets a push soon.
Right.
All right. Also, before we go, I kind of went crazy with getting the Ultimate Spider-Man's. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I need to stop going to the comic book store. Yeah, I think I got up to like volume 10 now.
Nice. It's good, man.
I'm a little crazy.
It's so damn good.
They gave me a deal that it was like get 2, get 1 free or something like that. So I was like, all right, I want this. So, and I just settled with, I want to get the whole collection, and then that's it, just so I can be like, boom, all the Ultimate Spider-Mans.
Nice. There you go.
So I've been reading through like a shitload of Spider-Man. Like I went and got the Amazing, like all that stuff this week, because I've just been in a like crazy mode. I'm Ultimate.
Yeah, I'm mired in the middle of the Clone Saga right now, so pray for me.
And that's the other thing. I need to jump back into X-Men too.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a good X-Men comic out this week by Charles Soule.
Nice.
So.
Very cool.
All right. Well, that brings us to an end. We'll be back next week. Make sure you go over to our iTunes. Make sure you give us a review. Go to our Facebook, like it, subscribe to us on iTunes, and go to our Twitters. It's at We Geek Podcast, at The Logan Witt, at Adam Estep. And we'll see you here next week, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the N.FM on Wednesdays. Captain.